Day, and that makes today the 24th of December 2019. Welcome to Business Today. My name is Wadula Mark Arnold. I hope you're enjoying yourselves. Most of you are on holiday, I know, and most of you are on vacation, so you must be either broadcasting us live from somewhere that you probably just really don't want to broadcast us from. But hey, it's a very beautiful morning, and welcome to Business Today. My name is once again Wadula Mark Arnold, and let's take a look at our corporate news. Umeme has promised residents of Chiganda Zone Kawempe Division that they will have electricity over the festive season. An arrangement between local leaders and Umeme Limited will see all those disconnected in the recent power theft elimination campaign. Operation Komboa reconnected upon payment of just 29,100 shillings. Now, during the Operation Komboa, 80% of connections of Chiganda Zone were illegal, and David Matovu has a report on the story.
After the town hall meeting between Umeme Limited and residents, over 500 former illegally connected homesteads of Chiganda Zone, a Kampala suburb, will have power restored.
We were here about a month or two ago, carrying out the Operation Komboa that was targeting at customers who are illegally connected to supply, those that had connections going under their houses, those that had illegal connections that were very unsafe to the community. The people of Chiganda, through their local leadership, have decided to come together and bring through a work stream of applying for power legally. Over 500 applications were received from this area alone, and they requested women to come and connect them.
These were disconnected in the power theft elimination campaign, Operation Komboa, which swept throughout the last quarter of 2019. Local leaders and Umeme Limited have agreed to reconnect the residents through the government subsidized electricity connection policy, ECP, at a fee of 29,100 Uganda shillings only.
The people they sent down, we have been going door to door, sensitizing them, and most of them they applied, and they discovered that most of our community were using this the illegal connections.
They will be reconnected upon application to Umeme and acquiring professional certified home wiring.
The government has subsidized the cost of power, both for a no-pole service and a pole service. The customer only has to pay 29,100 shillings to get a pole service and a no-pole service.
During the power theft elimination campaign, Operation Komboa, Chiganda Zone was ranked among the worst hit with over 80% illegally connected homesteads. According to many officials, Chiganda Zone will become a pilot study.
We have told them to do away with illegal operators. We are trying as much as possible to remove any middleman between women and ourselves, such that we're able to get these people on board and get them on correctly.
David Matovu for UBC in Kawempe, Kampala.
Well, thank you, David Matovu. And that just brings me to remind me a statement that says whenever you have so many people within a process, usually that's when corruption actually comes about. And I think that also that's what this story reflects. We're looking at a provision for so many people within the process of power connection. So that's why they end up coming so many illegal, connections. And I think, yes, subsidizing the electricity is a very good thing, but will that cure the problem? Will that cure the problem, Umeme? Will that cure the problem, government of Uganda? Well, we don't know, and we shall be finding out. It's our mandator's business today to let you know. Now, in our next story, it's just one day to Christmas, and commodity prices increased slightly as compared to 2018 in the festive season. Now, we visited Nakasero market to assess the prices of different food commodities. However, some traders are optimistic that sales will peak today, a day before Christmas. We'll take a look at the story I just did.
Just 2 days to Christmas, there seems to be a gap between commodities and purchases. The festive season prices of different commodities have been hiked. However, due to prevailing low disposable incomes, traders report low sales.
Abantu babadde batonotono abagula nga ate nga nokulwekyo nga n'ebintu bibadde byeyongedde. So kati kusekukuba eri eyaggwa twafuna ebintu ku ssente ntonotono nga ate n'abantu bakolaki nga n'abantu mwe bali bangi naye kati kweno ate ebintu byeyongedde bingi naye ate abaguzi batono.
Okugeza ng'ebijanjaalo biri mu bbeeyi nnene ate abantu babyagalira ku bbeeyi ya wansi. Kawo ali mu bbeeyi nnene ate abantu bamwagalira ku bbeeyi ya wansi. Ekikopo kya kawo ekinene ennyo ekitono ennyo tuba tukirina okitunda 3,000 ate nga kati bakasiba bakyagalira ku 2,500.
Despite heavy rains destroying some farmers' produce farms across the country, suppliers have met the festive season demand.
Jukira 23-24 batandika kugula mmere 24 tewali muntu agula ettooke 22 oba 23 mbona alitereka ewaka lyakulya Christmas kati tulinze enkeera tulabe ebintu bwe bitambula.
A bunch of matoke ranges from 20,000 to 40,000 shillings. A bag of Irish potatoes goes for 160,000 shillings. A bucket of tomatoes at 20,000 shillings. A bucket of passion fruits at 10,000 shillings. An assortment of tangerines at 3,000 shillings. And 4 oranges go for 1,000 shillings. Pineapples go for 1,000 to 5,000 shillings. An assortment of carrots goes for 2,000 to 3,000 shillings. A pack of garlic goes for 2,000 shillings. A kilogram of fresh beans at 6,000 shillings, and a kilogram of cowpeas will go for 10,000 shillings.
Bakasitoma era okwekaawo bennyini betubeera nabo kuva dda naye kati bano abalala abatugwamu obugulu si be bali awo nti oba bangi nnyo ng'aba Christmas eri eyaggwa oba wali eri wafuna nga twafuna be twali tulinawo ate n'abo abapya nabo nga beeyongeddeku.
Due to the high numbers of people traveling to villages, traders forecast low sales. Reporting for UBC, Wadulo Markanold at Nakasero Market.
Well, those are the food prices at Nakasero Market, just here downtown in Kampala. Well, yes, of course, they've increased the prices despite food supply. And you know, this year has been very rainy. That means farmers have been having a hard time, trying to maintain their crops. Some people's farmyard have been destroyed. That means food supply has also been affected. And that's what that story tries to look at. However, now, relatedly still, within the economy, transport has also been affected. Transport fares, the increasing traffic jam and scarcity of taxis on especially Ginger Road has been attributed to the change in traffic of the Central Business District by KCCA this year. This has affected transport during the festive season where the numbers of travelers has increased. We take a look at a story that Farid and Africa did.
Passengers flying to long distances like Chirinyi, Mbale, Jinja and Bugerere using taxis are stranded in the park with no taxis to take them to their destinations. One we interacted with was going to Buwenge and had stayed hours in the old taxi park. She also said transport fares have been increased.
Manya gange nze maka nazo wano ngangenda Buwenge nazo wano sawa nnya naye paka nakati nkyali wano jam munju makubo okutuuka wano.
Most of the taxis have slightly increased their fares. We witnessed Busika stage where the post has been written in pen on an ordinary paper. These have increased the charge to 7,000 and expect it to even rise on Christmas Eve.
Tubadde tugitikka wali tugitikkira essaawa kati etwala eddakiika 15-20 kati naffe ne tugamba mu kasente aka bulijjo 4,000 ze tutambulira oba ze tubatambuliza katwongeremu 3.
Rivals traveling to Kayunga by Costa are being charged 10,000 shillings.
Ate natuuka n'abantu nga bayimiridde era abantu babasedde kuba Kayunga tutwalira mutwalo nakifuma mutwalo n'ogumu ekitundu kangulumira nazigo tubadde tutwalira nusu 8 abasinga batwalira mitwalo 4, 5, 3 tubatwadde singi mutwalo gokka 13 zokka zetwongeddemu kusinziira ku mbeera eriwo abantu tebalina ssente.
Taxi drivers operating town service say they have not increased fares because fuel has not been increased. They, however, attribute the mess on the roads to the changes in traffic for Central Business District.
Birokola okuba waliwo kajjamu katukwate emmotoka nekola luutu emu kuba emmotoka bazikyusa ekkubo liri ne bazikyusa junctions koloka nga emmotoka evuze luutu omu eba evuze luutu bbiri nga bwe yakola enteekateeka nti zirina okukkirira tezikkirira kale emmotoka zonna zambuka Nakasero oba oliawo ne basangawo ebimotoka ebitikkula endabirwamu kanayo kireeta jaamu naye nga tewali jaamu ali awo.
Jinja Road at Nakawa, traffic is smooth, although people are seen stranded on the roadside. This is because drivers are asking for exorbitant fares, which passengers do not have. Also stranded here at Nakawa Shell petrol station are passengers traveling to Kapchora for Christmas. Taxis loading from here have increased the fares to 35,000 from the usual 20,000. Transport is expected to become worse on 24th Christmas Eve. I'm Navka Farida, reporting in Kampala.
Well, and those are the transport fares we're having in Kampala over here. I wonder if it's the same within other regions of Uganda, I mean in the west, in the east, and in the north too, I mean, because one thing I must at least say is that Uganda is a free market economy, and some of these things are bound to happen. You can't set prices and have them be stable all the way through. And you're going to bring a free market economy. That means that we have demand, or the price for commodities being driven by the level of demand. If demand is high, then the price will be high. If demand is low, then supply will also be, the prices will also be perhaps low. That is, if I get my economics right. But anyways, I think that's something that shouldn't really shock most of us. We're looking at a various trend of phenomena here. I mean, one, the traffic flow has been changed in Kampala, so that means there's definitely going to be traffic. So what does that do? It affects the level or the number of routes a taxi will make. So if a taxi is going to make only, let me say, 2 trips, or let me say 5 trips as opposed to maybe the 10 trips due to the traffic flow, then that means they will be justified to increase fares. So I want to break down some of these things, especially because these are I want us to understand what happens in a free market economy. These things are brought about by demand and supply. The price will definitely be affected by the level of demand and supply, the ability to supply some of these services and commodities. Well, more on that still, we took a look at that piece about Nakasero market increasing food prices. And one thing I would like to particularly state is that, yes, a lady talked to me and she told me that yes, the people cannot actually buy these commodities on the 22nd, on the 23rd, or on the 20. Most of the times people buy food on the 24th, which is actually today. So the chances are high that even the prices for some of these commodities today in these markets are high. And which brings me now to the Daily Digest. We're looking at our Daily Monitor today, and one of the headlines, pictorial headlines I should say, is highlighting the food prices. We're looking at cabbage moving up from 2,000 to 5,000 shillings, and these are it says food prices shoot ahead of Christmas special. I'm wondering which market this is. Perhaps I'll get the market and know, because I was at Nakasero market yesterday, and yes, there were definitely food hikes. Now here we're seeing that food cabbage has come up from 2,000 to 5,000. So if you're going to the market, you should have an expected price within that range. We're looking at tomatoes going up from 2,000 to 3,000. That's an increase of about 50%, I should say. Yes, we're looking at beef coming up. A kilogram of beef is at 12,000. That's more like the same range. Most places have actually taken it up to 15,000. We're looking at a bag of Irish potatoes moving up from 160,000 to 200,000. Well, I think Irish potatoes have also been, increased, but Before they were even a little less, because I remember buying an Irish potato bag at about 120,000 shillings from Kalere Market. But here it says 160s to 200. Well, it's expected that you should have within that expected price. But also, goods for Irish, that goes without saying that some of these foods you should have at least bought before, if they're not perishable. You should have bought at least a week before, forecasting some of these price hikes. Rice is going for 4,500 all the way from 3,000 shillings. Wow, that's quite a move. It's expected in a free economy. Then passion fruits go for 5,000 all the way from 4,000 shillings. That's an increment of about 1,000 shillings. Onions from 2,500 to 3,000, an increment of 500 shillings. And then chicken, I must say, has really hiked from 15,000 to 30,000 shillings. Wow, that's a price increment of also 50%. That's big. Then matoke, 25,000, from 25,000 to 50,000 shillings. At Nakasero, I think a bag, the ranges of matoke class came from about 30,000 to about 60,000 for a bunch of matoke. Well, still within the food prices, Monitor, I think, goes in depth to show us some of those food prices hiking up. Where does it say? I'm not seeing it somewhere here. Well, I know prices are definitely going to hike at times like this, and it's only right that people are either prepared for them or, you have good budgets. Well, Yes. It says food prices shoot up in Christmas season. What does it say? Let's see what the Monitor says. I see it's Christine Chitende and Arthur Arnold Wadero who actually make these remarks. Food prices in markets around Kampala metropolitan area have shot up in the festive season. A survey conducted by Daily Monitor in Nakasero, Usafi, Banda and Mukono markets yesterday showed an increment in the food prices of all products apart from beef and goat's meat. Traders attributed the high prices to shortage of agricultural product supply to Kampala because of heavy rains that destroyed crops, fruits and vegetables. The affected goods include matoke, groundnuts, Irish potatoes, beans, fruits and cooking spices. The prices of these food products have gone up because most farmers increased the prices on the farm. This forces me to sell according to how I purchase, Mrs. Miriam Nabakoza, a matoke seller at Nakasero Market, said. Mrs. Nabakoza and other traders buy matoke from Western Uganda. By press time, a bunch was being sold between 25,000 and 60,000, depending on the size of maturity. Previously, a bunch cost between 20,000 and 40,000 at the same market. Well, get yourself a copy of the Monitor to get more in-depth about these prices. Well, we move on to some more business news within the Monitor. What is it saying? Business news. Let's see. So, Auditor General warns of mounting debt to ESCOM. Something might not be really related to the festive season, but let's see what they say. According to the Auditor General, Uganda's continued accumulation of debt to the South African company ESCOM Uganda Limited is likely to burden government in the long run. The Auditor General has warned government about more than $10 million debt of concessionaire ESCOM Uganda Limited. Mr. John Mwanga, the Auditor General, who issued a report on performance of electricity generator ESCOM, warned that the country's accumulating debt of the South African company is likely to burden government in the long term. In a letter dated 11th December 2018, ESCOM wrote to Uganda Electricity Generation Company Limited, submitting an outstanding amount of the implemented investments that had not yet been recovered via the tariff structure since 2003 to date, amounting to $10.2 million. That's a huge sum. He said, adding that the uncollected money is likely to increase to to increase to 18.2 million US dollars, which is actually 66.7 billion shillings in 2019, subject to outstanding verification processes and works in progress. Wow, this is actually major. Something, we're already battling debt from the Chinese, we're battling debt from the USA and maybe some other debtors, and yes, we've not yet hit 50%, but I mean, we shouldn't wait to hit 50%, and if the Auditor General has foreseen this, I think it's a very good indicator that yes, well, let's call it a good indicator because we're realizing it a little earlier before it can actually take much effect on our debt burden. So I guess the stakeholders really need to look into this, yes, and yes, that's you can get an in-depth about this piece in the Monitor. What is this I'm seeing here? Government installs equipment to curb entry of fake phones. Well, we've had this story quite often about fake phones, and I wonder how far they are. Let's dwell into it and we see. Uganda has moved to switch off counterfeit phones after installing the Central Equipment Identity Registry. Well, that's it. I think now the equipment has been installed. Good move. A move by the Uganda Communication Commission follows increased influx of fake phones, handsets into the market in the past few months. Ibrahim Bossa, the UCC Director of Public and Corporate Affairs, said that the Central Equipment Identity Registry is to be linked to operating systems of each telecoms operator. And he says, as I speak, the system is analyzing to see how many phones in our market are genuine and those that are counterfeit. He said, the Daily Monitor understands that while the machine will not stop counterfeit phones already in use, it will prevent operation of new fake handsets. Explaining how the system is to detect fake mobile handsets, UCC said that the system will cluster mobile users under 3 separate lists: the white list, which will have genuine phones; a grey list, which will have phones that are either roaming, and a black list that won't allow a counterfeit handset to operate on any network. Get a copy of the Monitor to be able to get an in-depth of this piece. Now, we also see another piece where they say gold, coffee and tea boost Tanzania's export value. And how has that got to do with Kampala? Let's find out. An increase in the value of gold, coffee and tea, as well as the number of tourist arrivals, has enhanced the value of Tanzania's exports by 10.3%. To 9.472 billion US dollars in the India October 2019, according to the Bank of Tanzania monthly economic review for November. Well, that is for Tanzania. I mean, since we are the national broadcaster and we are part of the East African community, I guess this is something we also really need to follow up. But yeah, you can get an in-depth of that within the Daily Monitor. And then we see government restricts chili exports to escape the European Union ban. This is in Kigali. Wow. Check that out. Horticulture exports are estimated to have declined from an average of 130 million a year to about 100 million a year. Coming on back of an EU mission that in October came to audit progress and implementation of measures agreed with Uganda during similar review in April, Uganda is scrambling to implement long overdue reforms. It is good that this is happening because we have been telling them for years that the value chain needs to be organized. In what way every player is known as accountable, said one exporter. Uganda has more than 100 food exporters with at least 40 engaged in export of fruits and vegetables. In April, the European Union gave Uganda a 6 months reprieve until the end of November to put in place pest control and sanitary measures across the horticulture production chain, or risk exclusion from the European Union. Then we see again the grace period was given after repeated incidents in which larvae of a pest, the false codling moth, was found in consignment of hot pepper originating from Uganda. Well, that goes without saying that we need to really align most of our export values. And which reminds me of something we brought to you yesterday about counterfeit products. We are now going to start, examining, UNBS actually in particular is going to start examining some of our agricultural products, and we shall be actually testing them to actually find out whether they are safe for consumption. Most of the times we've been consuming products without knowing whether they are safe for consumption. But I mean, we can be guaranteed that within the year 2020, we shall know how exactly healthy our fruits, our vegetables, and all the rest are. More business news in our press digest. Deficit between imports exports grows by 45.1%. Now, I'm actually confused. Is this an percentage increase, or it's the statistic that it has increased to? Because it says deficit between imports and exports grows by 45.1%, which I think if it is an percentage increase, this is actually really big. We're looking at the gap between Uganda's imports compared to exports, otherwise known as the current account deficit, has widened by 45.1% in the 12 months to October. The increase was occasioned by growth in private sector imports, according to the Bank of Uganda Monetary Policy Report, a section of which focused on the country's balance of payment. The balance of payment in the record as any payment or receipt between one nation and its nationals with any other country. Wow, I think that's something really key and alarming that we need to look at. I mean, Vision 2040 of Uganda is trying to get us to reduce imports and increase exports. But the deficit between imports and exports growing by 45%, I need to find out whether that's actually a very good thing or a bad thing. Uganda has seen a spike in imports in the 12 months to October, thus leading to an increase in the current account deficit as the country continues to spend more foreign exchange that it earns. Negative indicator. Wow. Okay, and then the Forex Bureau rates here, we're looking at the dollar buying 3,664. That's a dollar house. You know that we're looking at a range of Forex bureaus, trading. We're even seeing traders going to a high of almost 3,745. We're looking at the euro buying at about 4,600 and selling 4,800. Yes, people going as high as 4,800. Anyone at 4,900? Let's see. No one. So the threshold is perhaps 4,800, the euro. And then we're looking at, actually that's pesos, and then the euros are at 3,000. I'm really sorry about that. Well, get into the monitor and you will be enlightened more about that. Fresh Dairy donates 500 liters of milk to the less privileged. Very good indicator. MultiChoice to reward 200 customers with 120 million. Stanbic incubation farming idea to enterprises. More of that in the monitor. New Vision. What does the New Vision say? Uber taxis fueling cocaine, heroin consumption. Drug dealers in Uganda, capital city, I think it's a hard news story. It's not business really, but it's content. Good, is it? All right, government officials fight over 467 billion energy project. This is actually very controversial, and we need, this is the New Vision. You might say they are, a watch. President Museveni pledges to support maize farmers. President Museveni agreed with the farmers on the essence of starting farmer circles to shield them from acquiring loans from money lenders who charge high lending rates. Well, it's not only the money lenders that charge high lending rates. We're also looking at commercial banks. Uganda is having interest rates over 20%. If you are a person that has traveled well enough, you will realize that this is actually an exorbitant figure. Interest rates over 20% is almost something that a person from Europe would look at and be like, what? You guys are paying interest rates of over 20%? But again, it comes back to the fact that we are a free market economy. We really cannot determine. I mean, the central bank oversees some of these things, but to what extent can we, control some of these things? Because I think, if we're trying to spoon for financial inclusion, how are you going to expect issues of keeping money within the mattresses, keeping, money lenders from, taking advantage of people to stop if we are having, interest rates over 20%. That's really crazy. And yes, President Museveni is supporting the maize farmers, those that are going to form SACCOs, so you better help gather yourself. But yes, if you really want to get more about the story, get into the New Vision and you'll see. Stop asking for high bride price, says Bishop. The president gave the new couple 10 cars and a cash valued 10 million shillings. Wow. Christmas, bus fares hiked for upcountry travel. Stay with us in the New Vision. You'll get their version of the story. Inequalities affect government stress, UN says. 110 billion industrial training center completed. Wow, this is interesting. I'll have to look at that. Government has completed the construction of a long-awaited industrial skills training production center at Namanve Industrial Park in Wakiso District. So, wow, the training center at the Industrial Park. I think that's dope. That's really nice. I think that's something really, because skills training is another thing that we've really been derailing on. I mean, we've not really been matching up the skills training industry as far as so many industries are concerned. I was looking at the hotel industry. Yes, we have the hotel and training industry, but the facilities to train hoteliers are not yet up to the international level. Well, that makes our press digest. Let's take a quick break and we'll be back with more business today. Stay tuned. My name is Badulo Mark-Arnold.
Good morning, Uganda. Today is a great day to make someone's day. A wonderful day to rewrite the future. Today is a beautiful day to light up their world. Or maybe even the perfect day to say, "You're my world." A marvelous day to make a brand new start. The perfect day to make the world smaller. Uganda, today isn't just another day. Today is your day. Airtel Money, with you always. Airtel Money, instant, secure, borderless.
watching Business Today here on UBC TV. And also please do remember we're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube under the tags UBC TV Uganda. Broadcasting live from Nile Avenue. Well, in our insight today, business is at a minimum as many traders complain this festive season has not favored them at all, and it seems that there's little money in circulation, which causes an alarm since January seems to be a dry long spell for financial constraints. Now there is an inspiration talk that we had with Brian Bravo yesterday on William Street here in Kampala as he shares an experience with us. Let's take a look.
When you create a job, then you know that it's a journey you must enjoy, and enjoying that journey it takes long. And I'm saying that we are here to stay because this is our mission, this is our purpose, this is our dream that we have to make sure that the brand must succeed. Of course, not every time things must be the same way that we want, but it's accepting to go through the challenges that come in and how dynamic you become. You know what makes us problem is that we become so static, that we are too static, that we can't want to change by the conditions. But when conditions come, you have to change, of course, to know how best you can go through a tough economy, because things don't get better. Every day things are getting more worse. So how do we involve ourselves in that channel? Yeah, because majority of people are doing business in a manner that everything is in their brains. Once then the brain goes away, then nobody can sustain it. Unless some few companies, if you look at Murana, Jessa is surviving after Murana's passing. Probably he had systems that he had put up, and it's now the legacy he left that his children are actually going by that. So in Africa, in Uganda, I'll talk of Uganda, majority of everything that we have in life is in our brains, and once this is cut off, there's nobody who can even find out any information concerning the business you're doing. So that's the challenge that we have, and once we change that, we are good to go. But for us, we are putting up systems to make sure that everybody runs the system, even when you're not there. Even the business moves when I'm not here. Yes, so it doesn't have to, I don't have to carry it now. So this is how we're looking at it. I enjoy it because, you see, once you start up something, then enjoy it. Enjoy the journey. Once you're ready to enjoy the journey, it becomes much easier. Everybody has a purpose why they're into business. And majority of people whose primary role was to get money, majority of them have failed. So I always tell people, if you're into business, first of all, be happy that you have put up a job to sustain you and your family first. Then you'll be able to know that, yes, it's a process. So money becomes secondary, but your primary role is, have I put up my job? And once you know that, then it becomes easier for you to enjoy the journey. Yes, people have to move. No, people have to move. I myself I was employed once in my life, a small job, and until I started my own business. I can't stop people from moving under export labor. If you can't have a job here, then you can be able to go. But you see, what amuses me is that most Ugandans underrate the small jobs they get here, and then they want to put in millions of money to go out there. When you go out there, then they're faced with a lot of challenges. And these challenges, as you're seeing out there, the world doesn't want lazy people. And Ugandans are very lazy. So when they go out there in the Arab countries, they want to sleep. All the time, my stomach is complaining, my headache, all the time they're crying of that. And those guys don't want that nonsense. They're paying you the money, you must work. So as I've seen so many people get problems there, I know the lazy ones are the ones that are getting problems out there. But if you're hardworking and you know what to do, it becomes easier for you when you go there. But now Ugandans escape here, then they want to go the other side. It's never easy. It's never easy, but when you're hardworking, you can make it. But once you're lazy, you can't make it in the outside world. Yeah.
Good advice.
I like fashion. I used to like to be smart, of course. Even my first, because my first employer was into garments, who gave me a small job at the time, and it's from that job that I left, and I was a hawker. I started hawking clothes, to people. I myself sold newspapers in Makindye. These old newspapers that I was selling to people who are doing chapatis and what. I did that. So I've been through that until when I started, I said, no, let me start my small job, with my small business, and I started to have a permanent address so that people can look for me, because I felt you can't keep in hawking for life. Until when I said, no, let me start up something that people will be able to identify me with. So it's through then that I started my business with 100,000, and when I tell so many people, they can't believe it. And yes, slowly, as I told you, enjoy the journey. Because first of all, I know I'd put up my own job. It was already a job that I put up, so I must make it work. I must make it work, and that's how I've lived. Whether I get money out of it or not, but I make sure that it has to work.
You don't think of going back or looking?
No, I can't do that.
Back to be employed.
No, I can't, because you see, let me tell you, all successful businesses have actually come up after 20, 25 years. If you look at all the businesses, once you keep at it, in the next 20, 25 years, when you're on a journey, you'll get there. But you see, the young want to make it in 5 years, 3 years, they're 30 years, they want to own everything in Kampala. They're 40 years, they want to own beyond that. These are why you're seeing all mistakes people are creating, that they're rushing to get rich, and they're jumping so many stages, and through that, they end up crashing. And once you crash, you're gone. The season, people always want to be part of it. So I don't think rain should be a problem. About the road network on Loom Street, it's becoming challenging for many people, adapting to the new system they're putting up, which is okay, we will welcome it, because life is dynamic. So I don't think that should also be a problem. But probably the economy is a bit challenging for most people to come up and start doing shopping. Salaries have not yet come in, so we expect it on last days of Christmas. But I've been very critical on making branches in Kampala, because Kampala is small, first of all. They're the same customers that come with us here. Kampala is too small. So you start spreading branches, yes, people of course would want convenience, but sometimes then it becomes a bit challenging for us. But later we can do that. Of course we had opened up that people want to take up a franchise, and somebody wants a franchise out there, you have the money, and if you want to do a franchise with Bravo Shoes, put in Ntinda, anywhere in Kampala, we can give you a franchise and you run your business. But for us at the moment, we wanted to consolidate ourselves here and be able to grow ourselves in here so that people can know where we are than over-expansion. So over-expansion is a problem. Yeah, when it comes, you can't resist it, but I want us to say that let it come at a time that you need it. But when it is not necessary now, no. We can serve our customers here. We've served our customers for all these years. They know us. We deliver to them, others, organizations that come to us, they know where we are. So it's not about being everywhere. It's about people knowing that when they need you, they can come and find you in that place. So there are people who cannot access here. They say we need shoes, then we're able to dispatch our border people to be able to deliver to them. There are those who are up country, definitely we send them through bus. Through all these taxis that apply to their regions. It's only on the diabetic part that we've been a bit critical, that once you are diabetic and you have a challenge, we always want people to come to us, because we look at your challenge, then determine which kind of shoes you're supposed to put on when you have wounds, when you have any challenges down there. So we cannot, it's still a bit critical for us, not just put a diabetic shoe on the bus or for somebody to pick it out there. Or if somebody can't move, then they're able to come in, somebody comes in, then we're able to train them on how best they can handle the diabetic patient. And once we train this very person, they can go there and train their patient. On Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. You know, nowadays social media has taken over everything. On Facebook, look for Bravo Shoes or Bravo Diabetic Foot Care for people who want to see the kind of diabetic services that we give. Then those who can access us, we're at City Center Complex. City Center Complex, Lumu Street, first floor, shop number B7. And we have our toll-free that you don't need to pay, calling us, definitely. We have our toll-free line. Our toll-free line is 0800 111 045. That's our toll-free to Bravo that we decided that we can pay the bill for those who are calling us. Probably there's a patient or somebody who wants to know something concerning us. That's the reason why we put up a toll-free line for customers. Festive season is still very low. It's very low because things are changing now. The trend is changing. And if you look at us, we are more into school shoes. And of course now schools are on holiday. But always we tell people that you don't need to wait at the rush minute for you to buy your school shoes. Our shoes are very good quality that they will go to church, they will go anywhere. So it's the same parent who will buy a shoe for his child going to church, the same shoe will go to school. Yeah, but only that parents think that school shoes are different from the church shoes. But for us, Bravo shoes are all round. It's because they're quality that people take them to school. But they're all round, they're smart casuals, they're smart shoes for church, for anywhere. So I tell people don't come in the rush hours of January, very tough. Sometimes people come and bombard us here and you find that it's so challenging to serve them. So that's why I always tell them, come before Christmas, buy your children shoes, then come use them for Christmas, then come January, go to school. Because you don't keep shoes. When you keep shoes, by the time they return from school, they no longer fit them. We're doing production in Poland, we're doing production in Turkey, we're doing production, we're also starting up here on a small scale to make sure that we can be able to do in-house production for all our products. We are running the economy where people are saying now we have to start doing bubu production in the country. Yeah, but to me I think bubu is still too early. Most people are rushing it. You know, if you say bubu, a Kenyan says kuku something, a Tanzanian says that. So the economy is closing in that we need to open up to be, as liberal as we are, we need to let it be a free market for everybody. Whether you're bringing from out, whether here, the customers have a choice. But we are rushing things that we think everybody is going to produce here. And once you produce here, then you can sell your product. Because if you can't export it, a Tanzanian will block you, a Kenyan will block you, a Rwandese will block you. So who will buy your product? So those are things that we would want to change, that they should leave the economy a bit still open for people, for the customers to make their choices. Yeah, otherwise a lot has to change in that line of where people are pushing us in line of bubu. Yes, it's good for bubu to give employment, but it can't happen. Many companies are leaving this country. Many companies are going back. In the next 2 years, many people are going to be frustrated, and you hear all these factories are being sold, and those who created them are going to go back, or they will give up on them because of the challenges that we have. Being that we're a landlocked country, and the population is small, and the buying capacity in Uganda is still very minimal. I do a lot of social media. I'm a motivational speaker. I speak on different forums for the young entrepreneurs. For those when we got 50 years, I speak to them as well. You know, sometimes the world wants to speak to the young, but the people of 50 and above, they need to be probably talked to. Merry Christmas for everybody, definitely. It's a Merry Christmas for people. Let's enjoy the festive season. You know, Christmas takes over everybody, whether you're Christian or non-Christian, whether you celebrate it or not. It's a holiday. It's a holiday. It's a holiday for everybody. It's a holiday to relax. And I will tell people, don't eat too much, and don't spend too much, because once you spend beyond your income, then you're the same person who's going to suffer in January. You know, January is too long a month, February, and after March is when it starts running down. So it's a Merry Christmas for everybody, and we are glad and proud to be associated with UBC. Bravo 2020, definitely, it's a brand that your child must adopt to. It's a brand that people must know about. We've done our best. Our shoes are quality, our shoes are guaranteed, our shoes are leather, our shoes are medically accepted for children who are growing. That's the beauty about Bravo shoes. That's the uniqueness with us. We have shoes that make sure that are made specifically for children that need to go to school in a healthy manner. Not these shoes that are heavy, then they have a challenge, they have flexibility, all those issues. We are very critical. That's why we're into children and again into diabetes, because we want to take it all along together in terms of health products. Find that when you're walking on the hill, then you need to flow pressure. Pressure means you're removing your weight and sending it in the front. Then here, somebody's heel is ready, can be moved very well, so that the healing process becomes very fast. This is a diabetic shoe. It's not an ordinary shoe. It's comfortable. It's well padded. The stitching is outside, so that somebody can easily use it back to office. The high school have moccasins. Our moccasins are 100% leather, the quality, and very good to be used by the young boys. So this is a special sock, okay? This is a special sock as you see it, that this sock has what we call the gel in there to reduce abrasion. So this is the gel. This is a gel that is in here to help abrasion, to help friction, and to remove, to help the patient not to get all these wounds in there and reduce infections. That's why you see it very, very heavy. There are those who have diabetes and you find that they need to adapt to socks for diabetic patients to reduce infection so that they can curb the smell after the smell, or they can curb the bad infections that come out of our bad footwear.
Brian, bravo, yes, CJ. I must say bravo for that. Thank you very much for, should I say, creating a unique product that most Ugandans thought we actually couldn't provide. Bravo, Mr. Bravo. That's something very commendable. And which brings me to the end of our Business Today program today. If you don't see me tomorrow, then you might probably know where exactly I'm at. Feasting, church, and maybe the rest of the things. From the team and I, allow me to say good day and Merry Christmas. Enjoy the festivities. Please drink responsibly and also take care of your lives, because Christmas can come again, but your life might not. Good day.
Uganda. Today is a great day to make someone's day. A wonderful day to rewrite the future. Today is a beautiful day to light up their world. Or maybe even the perfect day to say, you're my world. A marvelous day to make a brand new start. The perfect day to make the world smaller. Uganda, today isn't just another day. Today is your day. Airtel Money, with you always. Airtel Money, instant, secure, borderless.
It is bigger, better, and exciting. It is chilling.
Taking us back to the schools we went through, we are not taught to be critical thinkers.
If you love what you do, you don't even think about it as a job.
I've been living my life the usual way, but somebody turned it into...
Celebrating Uganda's talent and personalities is what we are all about.
I always knew I was going to be a musician.
I have always loved fashion.
We do it stylishly as we take you on a journey of self-expression.
Education is very vital in this element of fashion. From the time you see from introducing myself.
Now, I'm like a Lukaku and...
My name is Jago Ibra. Join me every weekend with a fresh new episode of Chilling.
to both believe that we're headed in the right direction.
It turns out that I just got a few days with my son. To hold him was amazing. Young lady, you do understand that stealing is a sin.
Says who?
For treating me in such a fair and Christian manner.
The name of our teams or of our schools, but because of the name above all names, Jesus.
Suzanne Waters, I'm the mother-in-law of the woman you helped. I believe that God wants me to be here.
You don't have to bother us. The book says, without a vision, the people perish. I say, go give it to them. Don't just follow your heart, man. Lead your heart. God still answers prayers. God still performs miracles. Heaven is real.
Exceptional turnarounds, and there is going to be a turn around. Mwaka mulamba abadde agenda mu kuzikirira agende mu buwanguzi, abadde atambulira mu bwavu amangu atambulira mu bugaggane.
Partnership with Everywhere You Go, MTN.
CBC Radio, Melody Scars, we got the Blockbuster Rides, of course, the Dance Battle for Friday on the Forever Unit Show. Hey! Today we are going to party till 2 p.m. You know, we actually show up every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, of course, Friday from 10 to 2 p.m. Or you can call us on 0773239789. I have to ensure that we're actually having wonderful time. Facebook is UBC Radio, and course, SMS line is 075 2025.
welcome home. It's so good to see you're back where you should be.